China to the nuclear tensions in Iran. Standing by, we have NBC News foreign correspondent Matt Bradley in Berlin, NBC News correspondent Janice Mackey-Freer in Beijing, and NBC News Tehran bureau chief Ali Arouzi in Tehran for us. First, let's go to Matt Bradley in Berlin on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Matt?
Yeah, you know, this is a visit by Mike Pompeo. He's the Secretary of State to President Donald Trump. He's going to be here. He's going to be meeting with Angela Merkel, who's the Chancellor of Germany, the Defense Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But, you know, as you mentioned, I mean, this isn't all about the relationship between the U.S. and Germany and looking forward. It's mostly about looking back, because this afternoon, Mike Pompeo, he's going to be unveiling a statue to President Ronald Reagan on the top of the U.S. Embassy. It's just across from this square from where I am now, because more than 30 years ago, President Reagan implored the then chancellor, or the chairman of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, to tear down this wall. That was that wall that was dividing East Germany and West Germany. And, you know, this moment is so important for so many Germans, seeing this unification that eluded them for so many decades. But it's also a commemoration of what is now missing in the world, because, you know, while the U.S. was so engaged during the Cold War, this lack of engagement now is really what a lot of people here in Germany are talking about. But next, my colleague Janice Mackey-Freer, who's in Beijing.
Thanks, Matt. This was a first, a joint investigation by China and the United States to crack down on a fentanyl trafficking ring to the United States. One person was sentenced to death with a 2-year reprieve. 8 others were imprisoned. Now, China has been criticized primarily by President Trump for not doing enough to stop the flow of illicit fentanyl into the United States, primarily through the postal system. This operation, codenamed Diana, after the woman tapped as an online dealer to customers in the United States. Authorities in New Orleans gave that tip to authorities in Washington. It was passed on to investigators in China, who eventually came up with 26 pounds of fentanyl. And you have to consider that's a lot when even the tiniest dose can be lethal. They also found 50 names and addresses of customers in the United States, and that led to more investigations and more arrests. They are holding this up as a success, and they did so very publicly, inviting journalists to watch the sentencing. China's judicial system is normally quite opaque. Now for the latest from Iran, go to my colleague Ali Arouzi in Tehran.
Thanks, Janice. Hey, guys. Well, Iran has taken the 4th step in reducing its commitments to the nuclear deal in response to U.S. sanctions, and this step is by far the most significant to date. In the early hours of Thursday morning, Iranian scientists started injecting uranium hexafluoride into centrifuges at the Fordow nuclear plant. Now, Fordow, under the terms of the nuclear deal, was only meant to be a research facility, and its centrifuges only allowed to spin empty. Now that they've had gas injected into them, they will start producing enriched uranium. That means Fordow is no longer a research facility, but an active nuclear site with the ability to produce weapons-grade uranium, something the Iranians say they don't want. Also, in contravention of the deal, Iran is now using 6th-generation centrifuges at the Natanz nuclear plant. The JCPOA stipulates they're only allowed to use first-generation ones. And if all that wasn't enough, Iran detained and then expelled a UN inspector because they claim she tested positive for explosive nitrates while entering the Natanz facility. The IAEA do not accept Iran's account of events. Ayman, Yasmin?
Yeah, certainly some mounting tension in Iran, to say the least, what's happening there with the nuclear situation, and an incredible bust, to say the least.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, we're sometimes focused a lot on the impeachment inquiry taking place, that we lose sight of all these significant developments happening overseas. So.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Ali Arouzi, Janice Mackey-Freer, and Matt Bradley, thank you all for your reporting this morning very much, guys.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.